What's going on, Team Nerd Herd Podcast? It's your boy Steve, aka HipHopsnme, 2021 in full effect, and Team Nerd Herd Podcast coming with a full head of steam and some new content with our new segment, Book Binging. A new guy's point of view with the old guy's point of view. Good cop, bad cop, reading on the story. Now I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to JR to give you a little blueprint on what our vision is. JR, take it away.
So, like you said, we both got different point of views. I've got the old grouchy point of view, been there, done that, don't need to do that shit again.
He's grouchy, guys.
Yeah, I'm Oscar. What do you expect? You've got the new guy going, oh, this is all cute. Let me look at the flowers.
I want it all,
if you watch Walking Dead, looking at the flowers is not a good thing. But anyways, I am here to present some new stuff to Steve to kind of open his horizons. And Steve is here to try to send some stuff to me that maybe I may not look at.
We're going down the rabbit hole, y'all. Down the rabbit hole.
So it's a mutual thing. We'll go back and forth, switching off books every week. Or whenever we do this.
WWE Tag Team Champions, JR.
So this is one of my picks. This is something that I suggested to Steve before. Based on the pedigree, I know Steve loves Stephen King. This is the son of Stephen King, Joe Hill, with his book, Basketful of Heads.
Bam.
Now, if you want to give a brief synopsis of what this book was about, Steve?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. So you got two main characters, but before we even dive into that, I want you to close your eyes. Picture 1983. You're probably hearing Cruel Summer in the background with your Cobra Kai t-shirt. It's Brody Island, Maine. It is a small town. And opening, you got June Branch, this voluptuous hot blonde. Oh my God. And you got Liam Ellsworth, who is a top flight rent-a-cop ticket grabber. Now, this story is grabbing you from the get-go. It's 7 issues, 7 great issues, all cliffhangers at the very end of each issue. So I got to tell you, in my opinion, getting into this, JR had recommended it to me. He knows I'm a horror guy. He knows I'm an indie guy, and he knows I love all those type of things. And he said, you're going to love this book. Right from the get-go, you're opening up to some real heinous stuff. I mean, you got convicts that are being let out in this small town of Brody Island, Maine. And the sheriff is trying to gather them up. You got Liam Ellsworth going back to the house of the sheriff to protect and serve. And these convicts, at the very first issue, leave you on a cliffhanger. They're in the house and they're ready to start a disaster. But you got June Branch, a resilient ass girl that is smart as they come and hot as they come. And she is full of piss and vinegar, chopping heads like Barry Bonds, y'all. Upper deck, home run.
She's also the boyfriend or the girlfriend of Liam. But anyways, she ends up getting a nice little Norse axe, and that her and the axe are the stars of the show. Now, we won't go into whole detail about the whole story, but know this. If you think you know the answer of what's going to happen, you're probably wrong. Even my old ass was going like, oh yeah, I see what's going to happen. It's going to be this. Nope. Mm-mm. And then even when I thought, oh, okay, well, you got me there, but now I get it. Nope. Got me again. So, first off, do you think he did right for his father? Do you think Joe Hill did a good story? Mind you, his father is the king of horror. Do you think he at least earns the Prince of Horror crown?
Oh, yeah, man, for sure. He definitely... The foundation laid out in the story, and every issue having like a lapse where you were like, I got to get to the other issue. I got to keep going. There was a great amount of horror involved with a real like funny sense of spin. You know, like we won't go, like we said, JR said we won't go fully in, but you got these basket full of heads. This Norris axe has special properties, and these heads are not just basket full of heads. They have personalities, and they are talking to.
Well, we can let that one out. We can let that one out of the bag. That some reason, somehow, when she lops off a head, they don't die. The head doesn't die, at least. So they continue to be part of the story as the story goes along.
And down the rabbit hole June goes as she gets to know more and more and more and more of the story, down to the very nitty gritty. And like JR said, it leaves you where you were like, what's going to happen? I know who it is. I know what it.
Yeah, I mean, even gets to the last page and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's something I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
So, Joe Hill also did Lock and Key, which is another great horror story he did. He continued with that one. Do you think there will be more Basketful heads coming out of this, or something else down the road?
One of the things that I find interesting, and I've heard being within the part of the community and kind of seeing certain things from the community, I've heard that this has been optioned for HBO Max, so there is a possibility that it could be a show. I think that would be right up HBO Max's alley. They have a lot of mature content, a lot of great shows, down to Lovecraft Country. You got also what's the DC titles that recently have come down?
They've got Titans and other stuff.
Watchmen.
And this is also owned by DC. It's Joe Hill Comics, a Black Label comic put out by DC Comics. It was the first right cracking off the gate. Yeah, because he also did Dollhouse,
Lolo Woods, The Purge.
Yeah, so he's done some good stuff. Would you come back for another book of this, do you think, Steve?
Oh, definitely, man. I mean, the twists and turns and the whole mind game playing of it all, down to like June Branch really learning the full story. She's so smart about how she really approaches this. That's the whole thing. The writing is great. They made her character really in depth. And in the end, she's just, she's just one of those Erica Slaughter type of strong women, man. I want her on my side for sure.
Or even was Nightmare Before Elm Street? Was it Nancy? She's very much in the vein of Nancy, or
that main vein.
Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween.
Definitely, she's resilient as they come.
Strong female character. I mean, overall, it was a damn good read. I was really shocked at how good it was. I knew Joe Hill was a good writer. But I mean, it's like, it's 80s horror. So I was like, it's going to be okay. But it was actually pretty damn good. I mean, it made it quite interesting. I do hope that we get some type of spin-off or a sequel to this down the road. I would love to see a TV show of this.
Definitely. I want to see a TV show. I mean, just the level of storytelling that Joe Hill kind of dropped in, and the turns and the oh shit moments, what's going on here?
Without ruining story, was there any oh shit moment that you could say that you liked a lot, or that you can mention?
Man, I gotta say issue 6. You find out that June is getting closer to being reunited with her boyfriend. And it feels so good. Damn, play this. We're horrible at karaoke, guys. Cut that out.
Oh, yeah.
You might take it with a few beers and some other paraphernalia. We might be singing freaking Total Eclipse of the Heart.
No.
Reeling this sucker back in, because nobody wants to hear about that. I would say the way June Branch really got information from that basket full of heads, and kind of that real spin. I mean, you're thinking she's chopping heads off, but why are they talking, y'all? I mean, I can only spoil that. And they're taking her down this rabbit hole, trying to misguide her, but she is just one smart woman, man. And when she going in, man, I thought to myself, dude, she is done for. But like I said, she's so resilient. She comes out of the water like Steven Seagal in freaking Under Siege. That was the major kicker for me. I was like, oh, she's done for. Scary movie, 80s scary movie. You look at those scary movies and you're like, oh, she dead. but
She
she
had
wasn't
like her
dead, y'all.
Jaws moment.
Oh yeah,
She was like that. Yep,
da.
Donna. Yeah. See, I don't know. One of my favorite scenes was from the first issue when she just lops that guy's toes off
Oh
as
man,
he's
yeah.
coming down. He's coming down the stairs onto the beach, and she's just hidden behind a rock and just swings and just cuts this fucker's toes right off.
In true horror fashion.
And then follows up by cutting his head off. I mean, swings a home run.
She well, that's not the only thing. I mean,
yeah,
she took his toes and then she took his fingers.
Yeah, she did.
And then she went Barry Bonds on that ass and took him upper deck. Like, if it was like the Ivies in Chicago or the Green Monster in Boston, you would have seen that.
Or like Alonzo would say, Kirk Gibson in the 1989 World Series. Fuck you, Kirk Gibson.
The Dodgers.
Yeah, fuck you.
Don't hate.
Anyways, anything else that you suggest for these people to buy about picking up this book or anything of that nature?
I would say definitely go with this book as an opener for the Hill House. I haven't read any other stories other than buying The Purge, but like JR and I said, we're going to be book binging these issues. We're going to go back and we're going to kind of try to grab a couple of readers. I know when we say, if you want to do it right, collect what you like, you're not staring at the covers, or you may be staring at those covers. You may be putting them in a little short box. But if you're a true fan, you're diving in the books. You're, getting to know your favorite writers, your favorite artists, all married together. If you're looking at, like music, production, everything done behind the beats down to the MC, it's all married together. The same could be said for comics. So when you have such a great title, I mean, you're going to follow their work and you're going to keep on following their work, but it's going to kind of lead you down other artists that you could really dive into. And so for me, kind of being the new guy coming back into comics, finding the love of comics, coming back from the 90s, that Spawn Image era, coming back into these books and getting recommendations from my boy JR and the other Team Nerd Herd podcast posse, it's been kind of, finding me a love for the reading and kind of finding my favorite artists and my favorite writers. So, like for me, it's a definite 5 stars. I just threw up a 10. What the hell?
Yeah.
5. Bam. 5.
And we will definitely be going into finding more stuff. And that's where you guys are going to be involved. In the comments, put suggestions for stuff. We're looking for stuff that is self-contained. Stuff that is easy to get a hold of. We're not going to go into, as much as I love X-Men, we're not going to jump into X-Men, because then I have to write a half-page thing saying, Steve, you need to understand this, and this, and this, and this. We're not doing that.
And then your boy Steve's going to be like, okay?
Yeah. We're purposely looking to find stories that are self-contained, even if it's the first part of, like, maybe we'll do Lock and Key down the road.
Oh, please, let's do Lock and Key. Sign me up, coach.
We can do Lock and Key. We can do some other stuff where you can read the first part. You don't necessarily have to have any previous knowledge. We're going to probably do one superhero book, and that'll probably be that Daredevil Man Without Fear.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's an origin story. It's all there. It's easy to do.
And it's your boy Frank Miller.
Exactly. And it's my boy Daredevil at that.
I guess
so we're going to do some stuff like that. But we're going to pass it back and forth. Little puff, puff, give.
Oh, definitely puff, puff, give. Who's
so
next?
There's going to be some stuff that Steve's going to say, hey, we're going to do this. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, don't just expect me to go, okay, here's every book. Because it's not going to always be ones that I choose from. It's not always going to be ones that we both like.
Yeah, we want to know what you're reading, what stories you're getting tied into, so that you can kind of recommend that to us. Each one, don't hide it, divide it. That's what I say.
Yeah. And if you have any suggestions, let us know. Put it in the comments, like, subscribe, all that normal shit. And instead of what Alonzo says, which is, if you want to do it right, watch what you like. And instead of the normal term, Team Nerd Herd, if you want to do it right, collect what you like. We're going to do, if you want to do it right, read what you like.
Read it, write it, and love it. Peace.
DJ Abomination.